Welcome to the second video lecture on Module 3 of Basic Electrical. In this, we will be seeing what will be the current, voltage and power consumed in a purely resistive, a purely inductive and a purely capacitive circuit which is fed from an AC source. So consider a purely resistive circuit as shown in figure. Here the value of resistance that is denoted as R, and we are giving an AC voltage which is represented as V equal to Vm sin omega t, and as a result a current I flows through this resistance. Our aim is to find the expression for current through this circuit as well as the power consumed by the circuit. So we know that by Ohm's law, the current I equal to V by R. So instantaneous value of current I is equal to value of V instantaneous voltage, that is Vm sin omega t by R. This can be written as Vm by R sin omega t. We know that the sin value varies from 0 to 1. So the maximum value of your current, that is Vm by R. So I can give this parameter as Im, since it's a maximum value. So current I can be written as I equal to Im sin omega t. So here we can see that when a voltage V equal to Vm sin omega t is given to a purely resistive circuit, the current is Im sin omega t. So waveform will be like this. We are having a voltage which is Vm sin omega t, then current, that is Im sin omega t. Here we can see that both the voltage and the current, they are in phase because these two quantities attain their peak values at the same instant. So these two quantities are in phase. This is sin omega, the voltage is also in the terms of sin omega t, current is also in sin omega t. So both of them are in phase. So while drawing the phasor diagram, you can draw, if this is the voltage phasor, the current phasor can also be drawn in the same line because angle between them, phase angle between them is 0. Both of them are in phase. And here we can see that the magnitude of current is less than the magnitude of voltage. So the current phasor is smaller than the voltage phasor. So this is the representation of the voltage and current through a purely resistive circuit, as well as this is their phasor diagram. Next we can see the power in this circuit. So the instantaneous power in the resistive circuit. So power in any circuit, that is voltage into current. So instantaneous power P is equal to V into I. We know that here the supply voltage is Vm sin omega t, whereas current is Im sin omega t. Substituting, we will be getting it as P equal to Vm Im sin square omega t. So sin square omega t, and can substitute it as 1 minus cos 2 omega t by 2. So the instantaneous power P equal to Vm Im by 2 minus Vm Im cos 2 omega t by 2. This is the instantaneous value of the power. But we need to find the power consumed or the average power in an entire cycle. That is from 0 to 2 pi, what is the power consumed. So the average value of power that is in any circuit that can be written as P average is equal to 1 by 2 pi integral 0 to 2 pi P d omega t. So substituting for P in this equation, we will be getting it as 1 by 2 pi integral 0 to 2 pi Vm Im by 2 minus Vm Im by 2 cos 2 omega t. Taking Vm Im by 2 common outside and integrating, we will be getting it as omega t minus sin 2 omega t by 2 and limit 0 to 2 pi. So applying the limits and simplifying, we will be getting the average power as Vm Im by 2. This can be rearranged as Vm by root 2 into Im by root 2. We know that Vm by root 2, that is the RMS value of the voltage, and Im by root 2, that will give you the RMS value of current. So average power P average is equal to Vrms into. So summarizing, we can say that in a purely resistive circuit, the current is in phase with voltage. That is, if the supply voltage is V equal to Vm sin omega t, then the current I will be equal to Im sin omega t. Both of them are in phase, or phase angle phi will be equal to 0. Then second point, the phase angle phi equal to 0. And third point, the power factor, that is cos phi. Phase angle phi means that is actually the angle between your voltage and current. And power factor, the value of power factor is calculated as cosine of the phase angle. So here phi value is 0, cos 0 is 1. Hence power factor is 1. Then the average power consumed, P will be equal to Vrms into Irms. Next, we can see what will happen when we pass an AC to a purely inductive circuit. So consider the given circuit. Here the value of inductance, that is denoted as L. Assume that we are giving a voltage which is denoted as V equal to Vm sin omega t. So as a result, a current I passes through this inductor. We know that the voltage across inductor VL, this volt, that will be equal to Vm sin omega t, because these two are parallel. So VL will be equal to Vm sin omega t. So here we are having an inductor. So what will happen when we are passing an alternating current through it? The flux linked with the coil changes. Because the current is alternating, the flux produced will also be alternating. So flux linked with the coil changes, and as a result an EMF will be induced in this coil. And the voltage induced in the inductor, that is VL, is given by L into di by dt. That is your Faraday's law. That we will getting it as L into di by dt. So both these, what we are having in the second as well as the third equation, both of these are the voltage across the inductor. So equating them, we will be getting it as Vm sin omega t equal to L into di by dt. Here also our aim is to find the current through the circuit. So here we are having a di element. To find the current, what we have to do, we have to integrate di. So first we can find the value for di. Di will be equal to Vm by L sin omega t dt. So the current through the circuit, that is I equal to integral di, substituting for di value, that is Vm by L sin omega t. So integral of sin omega t with respect to dt, that is minus cos omega t by omega. So we will be getting it as I is equal to minus Vm by L omega cos omega t. This cos omega t, that can be written as sin of omega t minus pi by 2. Minus cos omega t is sin of omega t minus pi by 2. And also here we are having another term in the denominator, that is L omega. So I am putting L omega as XL, which is the inductive reactance. This L omega is actually the opposition given by the inductor to the flow of current. So this is known as the inductive reactance or XL. XL is equal to L omega. So we get the current value I as Vm by XL sin omega t minus pi by 2. This Vm by XL, that is the maximum value of the current. So we can put current I equal to Im sin omega t minus pi by 2. So we got the voltage equation is V equal to Vm sin omega t. Then in the case of inductor, the current will be I equal to Im sin omega t minus pi by 2. That means in a purely inductive circuit, the current lags the voltage by an angle pi by 2 or an angle 90 degree. That is why here the term minus pi by 2 is introduced. Then another term is that is the impedance. So impedance is the opposition offered by the element to the flow of current. So impedance can be either resistance or inductive reactance. So impedance Z is equal to V by I. So V is your supply voltage. Supply voltage is actually Vm sin omega t. In the polar form, this can be written as Vm angle 0. Then I is your instantaneous value of current, that is Im sin omega t minus pi by 2. So this polar form can write it as Im angle. Here the shift is minus 90 degree or minus pi by 2. So Im angle minus 90 degree. Then the impedance, that can be written as Vm by Im. Im, we know that it's actually Vm by XL. Substituting that, we will be getting impedance Z as Z is equal to XL angle 90 degree. So we found out what is the voltage, what will be the current, and what will be the impedance. Next, we can see the representation of these parameters. So we have drawn the voltages V equal to Vm sin omega t, that is represented by this blue line. And here we can see that current I equal to Im sin omega t minus 90 degree. That means current is delayed by an angle 90 degree. So only after a 90 degree the current waveform is starting. So this is your current waveform, which is Im sin omega t minus 90 degree. So let's see the phasor diagram at omega t equal to 0. Here voltage waveform is starting from origin. So it's a reference. So this will be your voltage phasor. Then at omega t is equal to 0, this is your instantaneous value of the current. So this will be your current phasor maximum value. This angle is 90 degree. So here we can say that the current is lagging the voltage. So voltage is your reference. We draw the reference phasor. Since current is lagging, your current phasor will come below the voltage phasor. Then lagging by how many degrees? It is actually 90 degree. So the current phasor will be 90 degree apart from the voltage phasor. That also we have to draw it below because it is lagging. So this will be the phasor diagram of a purely inductive circuit. Next, we can see the power consumed in an inductive circuit. So the instantaneous power consumed, that is always the same, power is equal to V into I. So substituting for V is Vm sin omega t and current I is minus Im cos omega t. We will be getting power as P is equal to minus Vm Im cos omega t sin omega t. So this cos omega t sin omega t, that can be written as sin 2 omega t by 2, because sin 2 omega t is 2 sin omega t cos omega t. So we get power P as P is equal to minus Vm Im by 2 sin 2 omega t. Now power consumed, that is actually the average value of power. So that is equal to P average equal to 1 by 2 pi integral 0 to 2 pi P d omega t. Substituting for the instantaneous value P and integrating, we will be getting it as 1 by 2 pi Vm Im by 2 cos 2 omega t by 2 limits 0 to 2 pi. So applying the limits, we can see that cos 4 pi, that is equal to 1, and cos 0 is also 1. So we will be getting 1 minus 1, or average power is 0. That is, the average power consumed by a purely inductive circuit is 0. So what is actually happening? What is happening to the power? In the case of an inductive circuit, what happens is that during the positive half cycle, the inductor charges by consuming the power from the supply. And during the negative half cycle, the inductor discharges and giving this power back to the supply. And this process continues. So we can say that in a complete cycle, the power consumption is 0. But this power is actually circulating. Power is required, but it is circulating. During one half cycle, it will draw from the supply, and during the next half cycle, it will be giving back to the supply. So that is why the average power for a purely inductive circuit is 0. So summarizing, we can say that in a purely inductive circuit, current lags the voltage by 90 degree. That is, if the voltage is Vm sin omega t, then the current will be Im sin omega t minus 90 degree, lagging. So a minus sign. By how much angle? 90 degree. So minus 90 degree. Then the phase angle, that is angle between your voltage and current phasors. So that is 90 degree. Then power factor, that is cosine of phi, that is cos 90, which is equal to 0. And power consumed, average power consumed, that is 0. Next, we can see what will happen when an AC is passed through a purely capacitive circuit. So consider the circuit. The capacitor is having a value C, a voltage V equal to Vm sin omega t is applied across this capacitor, and as a result a current I will flow through this capacitor. So our aim is to find the current through the capacitor. So here also we can say that the voltage across the capacitor Vc, that will be your supply voltage, that is Vm sin omega t. Then current through the capacitor I can be written as dq by dt, where q is the charge stored in a capacitor. We know that when a voltage is applied across the capacitor, it will be storing the charges on its plates. So the current through capacitor will be equal to dq by dt. So now we need to find an equation for q. We know that in the case of a capacitor charge stored, q is equal to C into V, where V is the voltage across the capacitor, that is C into Vc. So substituting for Vc, that is voltage across the capacitor, which is Vm sin omega t, we get the charge stored on a capacitor q equal to CVm. So the current I is equal to dq by dt or d by dt of CVm sin omega t. Differentiating, we will be getting it as C omega Vm cos omega t. So I am rearranging this as Vm divided by 1 minus C omega, and cos omega t, that can be written in the terms of sin omega t, because our supply voltage is a function of sine. So if we want to compare the voltage and current, we need to rearrange the current to also we also need to write the current as a function of sine. So cos omega t, that can be written as sin omega t plus pi by 2. So we will be getting current I as Vm by Xc sin omega t plus pi by 2. Here 1 by C omega, that is written as Xc, or it is known as capacitive reactance. That is the opposition offered by the capacitor to the current flow. This capacitive reactance Xc is equal to 1 by C omega. Okay, so here we can see that Vm by Xc, that is the maximum value of current. So we can write current I is equal to Im sin omega t plus pi by 2. So here we can see that in the case of a purely capacitive circuit, if the voltage applied is Vm sin omega t, then the current through the circuit is Im sin omega t plus pi by 2. That means the current leads your voltage by an angle pi by 2, because here we are having a plus pi by 2. So that means the current is your leading quantity by an angle 90 degree. Then we need to find impedance of the circuit. So impedance Z is equal to V by I. So V equal to, actually it is Vm sin omega t. If you are writing in the polar coordinates, it is Vm angle 0. And the current is Im sin omega t plus pi by 2. Writing in the polar form, maximum value, that is Im. Then phase angle, that is 90 degree plus 90 degrees, because here we are having plus pi by 2. So dividing, we get impedance as Xc angle minus 90 degree. Next we can see the wave representation of voltage and current through the capacitive circuit. So voltage, that is V equal to Vm sin omega t. Then current is 90 degree ahead of your voltage waveform. That is, when your voltage is 0, the current has already attained its peak value. Then only after 90 degree of your current waveform, the voltage is attaining the peak value. Then if we are drawing the phasor, we can see that voltage is your reference phasor. So first we draw the voltage phasor. Reference phasor is always drawn horizontal. Then what we can say about the current? The current is leading. So leading parameter should also always be drawn above your reference phasor. Then by how many degrees it is leading? It is leading by 90 degree. So by 90 degree we have drawn. Then length of this current phasor, that will be the amplitude of your current wave. And this length of the voltage phasor will be the amplitude of your voltage wave. So this will be the phasor diagram of a voltage and current to a purely capacitive circuit. Next, we need to find the power consumed by a pure capacitor. So here also instantaneous value of power, that is V into I, substituting for V and substituting for I, that is Vm sin omega t into Im cos omega t. We will be getting power is equal to Vm Im cos omega t sin omega t. That can be written as Vm Im sin 2 omega t by 2. So we have to find the average value of power, that is equal to P average is equal to 1 by 2 pi integral 0 to 2 pi T d omega t. Substituting for P and integrating from 0 to 2 pi, we will be getting it as minus 1 by 2 pi Vm Im by 2 cos 2 omega t by 2. Limits are ranging from 0 to 2 pi. So applying the limits, we will be getting average power as 0. That means in a purely capacitive circuit, power consumed or average power consumed is 0. Here also what happens during one half cycle, the capacitor charges by consuming power from the source, whereas in the next half cycle what will happen, the capacitor will discharge, giving this power back to the supply. So average power is 0, but some power is circulating in these elements. Okay. So summarizing, we can say that in a purely capacitive circuit, current leads the voltage by 90 degree. That is, if voltage is V equal to Vm sin omega t, then current will be I equal to Im sin omega t plus 90 degree. So we can say phase angle, that is angle between the voltage and current, that is 90 degree. Then power factor, that is cosine of this angle is 0, cos 90 is 0. And also power consumed is 0. And regarding power factor, we will be seeing it detailed in the coming lecture. What is its significance and all this thing. For time being, now you should know that power factor, that is cosine of the angle between voltage and current. So that is the end of the second video lecture. Thank you.